Hello and welcome to Public Report. I'm your host, Desiree Horde. Our guests today are Sarah Bauer and Danelle Cross, and they are from the Next Door Foundation. Sarah is the site supervisor and Danelle is the program coordinator for the Building Neighborhood Capacity Program. Our issue is family and our topic is strengthening families. It's so nice to have both of you here today.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yes. Thank you. Why don't, and this question can be for either one of you or both of you, tell us a little bit about yourselves, your position with the Building Neighborhood Capacity Program. And Sarah, I'll start with you.
Okay. Well, my position is as the Building Neighborhood Capacity Program Supervisor. I've been living in Milwaukee for about 6 years and have a heart for community change and for working with families. So I got into this because of living in the city and understanding some of the problems in the city, and then just having a heart to see something change.
Okay. And Danelle?
And I am Danelle Cross. I am actually a resident of the community that we're working in, Metcalf Park. I have been a resident for 7 years now. I am the Building Neighborhood Capacity Site Coordinator. And I believe that one of the reasons I was selected for this job is because I do live in the community and I'm really close to knowing what some of the challenges are in our community.
Okay, can either one of you give us a brief overview of the Building Neighborhood Capacity Program and its mission?
Sure. Well, the Building Neighborhood Capacity Program, or BNCP as we call it, is part of the White House Neighborhood Revitalization Initiative of 2010. And it's a unique initiative because it brought together 5 federal departments in a collaborative effort to bring about community change. And the federal departments are that of the Department of Education, Justice, Treasury, Health and Human Services, and Housing and Urban Development. And really, the BNCP is intended to catalyze community-driven change in neighborhoods that have had significant barriers to revitalization. It hopes to build the infrastructure and give the resources that families and residents and partnering organizations want to see, like the change they want to see in their neighborhood. There were 8 communities that were selected in 4 cities nationwide, and so it's a great honor for Milwaukee to be selected as one of the communities. And there are one of the cities, and then there are 2 communities in Milwaukee, Metcalf Park community, which we work in, and the Amani community.
And why were those communities specifically chosen out of the Milwaukee area?
Well, I'll speak for Metcalf Park. Metcalf Park is a community that's had just high levels of barriers to revitalization, high poverty, high crime, and it's just been stigmatized as a neighborhood that's just had a lot of problems. Yet in spite of those problems, there's so many assets in the community. There are community organizations that have just a huge commitment to the community. There are residents, which are our largest asset in the community, and they're leaders, and they are committed to making changes in their neighborhood. So in spite of some really large barriers, there's also some really large assets that are going to bring about this revitalization process.
All right. Now you mentioned the barriers. Who would you say is most vulnerable or affected by these types of barriers or some of the issues that might be faced? And that's for either one of you.
Well, I believe that those that are most affected by the barriers, and the barriers being drug trafficking, violent crime, prostitution, housing is a really big issue. I believe those that are most affected are the single parents. Children, our elderly are very affected by being shut in because of the crime that we are experiencing. People are not able to really to have a family environment in a holistic way. Mm-hmm. Health is really important. We need access to quality health care for our families. We do have some programs. Children's Hospital is really visible in our community, but we still have some room to grow in that area.
Okay. Now, Danelle, you mentioned that you actually live in the area. What would you say are some of the strengths of the neighborhood?
I believe that our residents are our strongest asset. We have a lot of assets there, partners that are there, and they have been there for quite a while, trying to help create a healthy neighborhood without the success that they would want to see. And I believe that the missing link was the residents, that they need to be a part of any change that's going to be sustainable, because when the partners are not there, the residents need to be able to keep this going on their own. And so our main focus, one of our main focuses is resident engagement, and not just engaging them, but empowering them and giving them the tools to navigate some of the systems and structures that they would need to be able to, to be able to be present in. We don't see residents and partners as separate, but they are sitting at one table. Residents are partners. And that we're going to model what the 5 federal partners did in collaborating to bring about this program. We want all of the people that have a stake in this community to be at the same table partnering together.
Okay. What role do strong and secure, healthy families play in all of this?
Well, we believe that when residents come out and are truly engaged in creating the changes for themselves, that they will be able to strengthen not only services and the community itself as a whole, but strengthen their own family. That we will be supporting them holistically, where they are strengthening them first, and then they go home and strengthen their family, and then their family strengthen other families on their block, and it's just block by block by block.
How will the BNCP partner with families to engage them in just what you were speaking about?
When they come and they are present, what do we do when they get there? So one thing we are doing, we are not making any decisions without them. They are driving this. So we have ideas of how to engage, but we're taking it back to them and let them tell us what do they believe will really work. And so we're going to form a focus group for engagement so that we can start talking about ways to engage. We don't have that serious problem in our community of getting residents engaged. Our residents are excited. They believe that that this community has really not had this kind of opportunity, and they're excited to know. But one thing that they want to do is they want to get to work. They don't want to talk a lot about it, they want to be about it.
What core services do you think families need to have convenient access to make these changes possible?
Healthy foods is something that's really big. We have a lot of corner stores, but a lot of them are not providing healthy food. And so that's something that they've been talking about. I believe that from my house, I should be able to go and do everything I need to do right in my neighborhood. I should be able to shop there, play there, go to church there. Everything, childcare, quality childcare should be there. Services, if domestic abuse services are present in our community, not right in our community, but our residents need services with domestic abuse, child abuse prevention, not just come in after it's been done, but because of the different stressors in the community, we need services that support child abuse prevention. And Sarah's other program that she worked on is actually identifying that and starting to do some work on it, so along with parents that are at the Next Door Foundation. And so I believe that those issues are starting to be addressed on the ground level, not upstairs talking about it, but right on the ground level, doing the things that need to be done to put all these things together. Then another thing that BNCP does is that we are going to align services. We don't want to copycat programs. Everybody's doing something. It's organizations that do food, distributing food, and do it well. So we are going to teach our partners and residents how to align these services so that when you come up with a plan to revitalize your community, everybody's not doing the same thing and you're not trying to do something that's already been done well, but learning how to align the services so that they meet the needs of the revitalization plan and the community.
Okay, now you were just talking about some of the different strategies. Sarah, will these strategies kind of be evolving, or have you already kind of determined what it is that you hope to be able to accomplish?
Well, they'll definitely be evolving.
Okay.
We're just getting started with this really exciting project,
Yes.
and we're getting residents to the table, we're getting partnering organizations to the table, and we're working even on right now understanding what the role of each individual at the table is going to be. We want residents to have roles, we want partnering organizations to have roles, and we want to know what all those roles are. And so to actually have the strategy to determine how things are going to work, we need to have everybody at the table, and we need to know what everyone's role is going to be at the table. So it'll definitely evolve over time, and we're hoping that the people sitting at the table making these decisions about the community really represent the demographic of the community, such as, we have a very young population in Metcalf Park, and the average ages are between 18 to 24. So we want to make sure that those young people are represented at the table. We have single mothers, a majority of single mothers in our community, and so we want to have those parents at the table. We have just a really diverse population. We want to make sure it's properly represented before anything really gets decided.
Okay. And how will the success of the BNCP be measured?
Well, the BNCP is focused on capacity development, and the capacities that Metcalf Park are focused on are resident involvement, a community process of change, financing, and accountable partnerships. And so those are the capacity target areas that we're looking at. And I think it'll be mostly measured based on observation, and there will be some numeric measurements as well, but we're really focusing on observable change. Our residents stepping up and taking ownership of the work in the community. Can we see that they've developed leadership qualities? Are partnerships accountable to the residents, and are the residents accountable to the partners? And are their roles properly defined? So I think a lot of how it'll be measured will be observable at this point.
Okay. And then what do you hope to see change in the lives of the families as a result of all of the things that we've talked about today? And that's for either one of you.
Some of the things that we are looking to see change, some of the things are not tangible. I want to see myself, I want to see people outside interacting with each other, not afraid of each other. I want them to be safe enough, to know that they're safe enough to walk down the street and go to the store without getting robbed, which that has happened very close to me. I want to see the fighting in the streets stop.
Right.
I want people to be able to barbecue, invite family, and not be embarrassed. I mean, our community right now, it's ugly. All of the boarded up buildings, the vacant lots. I wanted when we ride past that you can see that it's healthy. Mm-hmm. You can see it because children are playing again outside, and parents are out with their children at the parks, and that there is possible that they could go out and exercise and have family and neighborhood events again. Mm-hmm. That's what we want them to be able to go to the grocery store and not pay extra for everything, and that it be healthy. We want them to be able to go to the doctor in their community and get quality care. We want them to be able to get supportive services that are available, because we have so much of it, but do everybody know what's there? So we do have programs that are going out now door to door offering people through Children's Hospital some of those services so that they could be able to access it, because we have services that are not being accessed. We would love to see some of the employers in our communities employing and training people that live there. Mm-hmm. That's something that we've been looking at, because we were really vital at one time. The 30th Street corridor had job opportunities. Our unemployment rate for our community is very high, and a lot of the young people don't have skill sets that would take them to employment, don't have high school educations to take them to employment. So we want to see our young people graduating. We want to see successful schools, that people are graduating and able to navigate college or work and have those options available to them. That's what we're looking to see change.
Great. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure speaking with both of you today.
Thank you.
Great time. Thank
Great
you so
speaking with
much
you
for
also.
having us.
Thank you. We've been speaking with Sarah Bauer and Danelle Cross, and they're from the Next Door Foundation, and they're also affiliated with the Building Neighborhood Capacity Program. Our issue has been family, and our topic, strengthening families. Thank you for viewing Public Report.
The material on this program does not necessarily reflect the views of WWRS.